And recording. Alright, hello. My name is Nelsonator. I'm here with my friend.
I'm Parish Torch.
And this is Let's Play Mega Man Battle Network 6, Cybeast Gregar. We're here in the Mr. Weather compound, where a man standing on a computer who could easily beat up a grade school child like Landikari is just like, haha, you're never gonna get the Force program before I do. So, here we are trying to prove him wrong. This place has a lot of crazy weather going on inside of it, just like outside is currently set up. And they've got a couple new enemies that are here. The Katak, shown in the back there, is a returning enemy from Mega Man Battle Network 5, where it slowly advances on your area and fires a big shot. The shot, if it goes all the way out the backside of your field, explodes and hits the entire back column. So the battle chip they drop, the tank cannon battle chip, really powerful, really strong, really good. If it's in whatever code that you're currently running in a folder, well worth your consideration. This Mr. Prague is telling us, hey, here's the gimmick of the dungeon. We'll see it and it'll be self-explanatory, but we gotta get on a cloud, we gotta collect the rainbow power, and then we'll be able to, like, seal those typhoons away. Yeah, this is kind of an interesting dungeon with a fun little gimmick. What do you remember about this dungeon, Parrish?
I remember that it's a lot nicer than some of the other dungeons that you have to go through. Like, failing to encounter the objective doesn't automatically throw you into a random battle, but instead it just makes you take a little bit more time to climb back up the ledge to restart the process.
Yep. Because what they don't really tell you about the rainbow power is that, like, you need to complete a loop by returning to your start point. So you can't, like, cut in on somewhere later on, and I know that's something I have a problem with, like, later on in this dungeon, where I'm not quite able to complete the loop and I don't get it, and I'm just sort of flying around like, what am I doing wrong? But, like, at least the failure state is minimal, where you just sort of drop back down onto the lower floor, and that's just kind of it.
Yeah, you waste a little bit of time trying to get that perfect circle around the typhoon clouds that are flying around. But yeah, other than having to take a little bit longer to do it, it really doesn't do much other than take up more of your time if you don't succeed on the first try.
Yep. It's
and
also...
unfortunately, like some of the other ones that we've got going on, it doesn't stop you from encountering virus battles, like when we're running around as Elementman with the lights out. So there is that little bit of a hassle still going on.
Yeah. Because at the very least, like, when you're on the cloud, you don't get random encounters, and that's nice. But when you're, just wandering around on top of the clouds, you get them. It's also nice how fast the cloud moves. Like, you just start zipping as you're going around.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I also like how he's saying, oh yeah, press the A button to shoot out rainbow power. It does nothing if you're not on the cloud, so you might just press the A button and be like, alright, I can't do it, but yeah, look at me go. Rainbow power.
Yeah, I definitely had that problem when I first started playing through this.
Yep. But yeah, look here, where I just completely missed going back to the start of the loop, and I just get whacked by the tornado again, so... And look at that! I completed the loop with that! Like, you just have to kind of touch your first one in the string, and that's good enough. So, yeah, the cloud's a little bit strange. Like, at least you get 3 hits before you get knocked back down. But at the same time, it's like, it's a little strange. But, it's fine for what it is. Like, I prefer this to the sharks in the aquarium, so I like this dungeon.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the shorter dungeons that we have in terms of, like, the dungeon gimmick making you go out of your way and take a bunch of extra time. Like, I think the shortest one that we've seen so far is probably Judge Man's, because if you're decent at navigating the pathway system, you certainly don't have to go too far out of your way to make it to the end of the dungeon, I guess. Also, I've noticed that you've had the Muramasa chip come up a couple of times, but you're never really in a good position to use it or take too much advantage of it, it seems like.
Yeah, I put Muramasa into the folder with the intention of demonstrating it. As you take damage, Muramasa powers up, but the problem is, at least for what I've recorded so far, I never pull it when I'm, like, when I have it powered up. So every time I see it, it's just like, 0. So I'm just like, well, I'm just not going to use it then. But Muramasa can get really strong in certain hands. I think in the original games, it could hit for, excuse me, like you could go all, excuse me again, you could go all the way to your maximum health. Excuse me yet again. Wow, too much carbonation. But what happens in this game, I think it might be capped at 500. It might be. I'm not entirely sure. I know in the Star Force games, when they reintroduced Muramasa, it got capped to 500. But, like, those games have a unique mechanic that sort of warrant capping it at 500, as opposed to these games where they're just like, yeah, sure, hit them for 1,000. We don't care.
Yeah, but it is easier to hit.
But yeah, Muramasa with the Beast out is a really good battle chip, especially as a comeback kind of thing after you've been hit a lot. In that Blue Mystery data was the Shield Navi Customizer program. If you press left and B in a battle, you can throw up a shield to block. There's an improved version called Reflect that when it gets hit, it'll create like a shockwave going forward, just like the Reflector battle chip. But
I could never do it.
I struggle in these games to get that to ever work out, so I just never use Shield and Reflector. Like, if it works for you, all power to you. Like, feel free to give it a look, but it's always been inconsistent whenever I've done it, and I've just never invested the time to get it, like, automatic, you know?
Yeah, it's certainly one of those things that it seems like it would pay off. I mean, we were just talking about the risk-reward of Muramasa. You know, any sort of precise counter input like that would be interesting if you could pull it off reliably, but it's hard to get reliability up to a certain point. And there's a couple other chips with button commands.
Yeah, Battle Network 2 introduced the variable sword where you could put in special combos and it would change from, like, it was a 160 damage chip, but unless you did button combos, it would only hit the square in front of Mega Man. But you could do other combos like left B, right B, and then it would throw it like a shockwave down the field. And there was some combo where it was just like, oh, we're going to throw out 4 waves, and they're different elements. If they hit a prism, they'll reflect off it and do 1,000,000 damage. And, like,
yeah,
I could never reliably execute the button combos in the few times I tried, so I just stopped using it. And then, like, unless there's a really easy combo, like in Battle Network 3 with the Guts Punch, where you just do a Hadouken, and it just shoots the fist all the way down the field. Like, that's the only time I've bothered with any of the button combo chips across any of the games. And then, to go even further, there were enough people that were good at the button combos that they introduced Neo Variable Sword, which is Variable Sword, but better, because you can input a button combo where it does 2 Life Sword-sized strikes to the field. So that's 480 damage from a single battle chip. And I just look at that, see that it's really good, and I'm just like, I'm never going to do that.
Yeah, that was never going in my folder.
And that's life. Also, I get caught on that little cloud there, and I'm like, maybe the Typhoon should back away from it a little bit before I start, tying the knot. But that's a very common occurrence, unfortunately. Also, look, I get to demonstrate the fail state, where Mega Man just kind of says, oof, and then you just go back and do it again.
Yeah, and new sprite, too.
Yay!
Yeah. So, yeah, in some cases it's almost better to just, take the hit and fall down, because then you get a fresh cloud to try again with. More possibilities.
Squats. Yeah, when he jumped off the admin building last episode, did he end up in that squad after he did the long jump?
I think he might have had that. I don't really remember. I mean, if it was very short. I mostly remember the catch of Lan.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of nice to see these little touches. Whatever, it's just like, oh no, I'm falling. Oof. Like, yeah, there's not that much danger here, but it's still, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, not much danger in general in these games. So.
Yep.
Which is kind of interesting that they had the Lan parachute umbrella thing, because they normally try and keep the danger away out of the physical realm. I mean, we talked about the guy standing on the computer who could have just socked Lan in the face, but instead he's like, "You'll never defeat my Navi inside this computer."
Yeah, and it's also not that much time compared to what it could be. Like, you still keep the rainbow power. You don't have to go back and recollect the rainbow power. You just get it.
Yeah. Oh god, I can't imagine that would be the one thing that would make this dungeon even more frustrating then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at least you get to hang on to the rainbow power. You just walk over into the ramp and get a new cloud, and you're good to go.
Yeah, on, like, a big, flat, open plain with nothing obstructing you from running right back there.
Right.
And me just sort of running around as I'm going, just sort of taking stock of, like, okay, there's some rainbow here, there's some rainbow there, there's some rainbow here, there's some rainbow there. I think I got this. Yeah. Yeah, like, this is a very forgiving dungeon compared to the aquarium. Ugh. Yeah, you mentioned earlier how Muramasa had 0 plus 50. This is how we got the plus 50. It came out of Slash Cross, because it just gives 50 to swords. Yeah. But yeah, so Elementman's just sort of right past that cloud here, so this is going to be, like, the most complex puzzle of them all, and, like, the reason it's most complex, in my mind, is because, like, the tornadoes are kind of tightly packed amongst this, like, cloud bank, so you might end up with a problem of, like, the two... Actually, I just call them a tornado, right? Aren't they more of like a hurricane? Either way.
I think they call them typhoons, but...
Ah, well, there you go. But the... Also, every time I press select, like, that's where Safe State 8 is marked on the simulator, so it's like, oh, I want to see the field. Oh, I want to come back. It's just like... But, like... Where was I going with this? Like, the two typhoon viruses will sort of cover themselves, so unless they decide that they kind of want to split apart a little bit, you might end up trying to corral one of them and get whacked by the second one, because, like, they have sort of phases where they like to move a lot, and then phases where they like to sit still for a bit, where you're sort of intended to lasso them, and it just feels kind of bad when you're in the middle of lassoing one, and then you just get walloped out of nowhere. But, like, I don't know. The penalty for failing is so light that I can kind of go with it, but at the same time, I wish I didn't have to.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you take the time to sit there and observe the cycles or the patterns that they're on, as you mentioned with the times that they stay still, it should be easier. But unless you're doing a speed run of the game, I don't see too many people wanting to try for maximum efficiency to figure that out.
Yeah, I ought to. Maybe that's how this LP should end. I should look into the speedruns and then post, like, my PB from, like, a week of practice or something. That might be fun to do. Because I think the speedruns in, like... I know the first game is somewhere, like, an hour and 40 minutes, I think? And then the second... And then the successive games are up around 3 hours or something like that.
Holy cow.
Well, I don't know that off the top of my head. It's been a long time since I've looked. But, yeah, like, the speedrun for this area probably has, like, some super cool YOLO strats for being able to, like, lasso the typhoons or something. But, yeah, I've never seen, like, a Battle Network game at a GDQ or anything, so I've never, like, because I'm a normie, I've never tuned in to see just, like, oh, man, what does this look like? But I'm aware that there's, like, step manipulation to manipulate the encounters that you get. And you can run through dungeons without seeing any encounters in some of the games because you just, like, step and run and enter menus properly to not see any.
I know that they've done similar things with the Pokemon games, either triggering exact battles on the exact, square that you want them to with the right Pokemon and everything, but yeah, I didn't really think you could do that in these games.
Yeah.
But I guess that would make sense as to the biggest time save.
Yeah, I think I saw a tool-assisted speedrun for, like, Numberman's dungeon in the first game, and I remember, like, the dude reorganizes the chips in the folder so that when he enters the battle proper, he will have exactly what he needs to immediately demolish whatever virus encounters he's going to get. Also, I like here how I forget again, you have to close the loop way back to where you started. I don't do that, and I get whacked by the typhoon again, after getting whacked by the typhoon for collecting the last rainbow power piece. And I'm just like, fine.
Probably the best spot to fall down in, though.
Yeah, I struggle a little bit with the typhoons, and they're, a little tough to deal with, but at the same time, I try to close the loop, and I just forget, and I'm like, nah, he's too close to the side there, I gotta wait. Oh, no, I got hit. Oh, no. Well, we finally got it. Yeah, it...
Hooray. Well, yeah, if that's all that it took to complete the dungeon, now we can just...
Yeah, when the typhoons stop moving, yeah, they give you there's a lot of leeway here, which is part of the reason why I kind of like this dungeon compared to, the other one. And now this is the point where I'm like, maybe I should take auto heal off. Maybe I should take this a little more seriously. I wonder if I can get just a little bit more out of my Navicus. Well, nah, never mind. We'll just run over him. He's fine. Elementman's not that bad. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, that's always my thought with Navicus.
So, Parrish, what do you think Elementman sounds like? What do you think this sounds like to voice?
I mean, I always heard it as like some like high pitched noise, like almost like a Morse code kind of thing coming in. But there are more syllables than that, so I don't know.
Ah.
At the very least, that's what I saw with it being in all caps. Right, exactly.
Right, the warnings when a tornado's coming in, just...
Yeah, like not quite that part of like an emergency broadcast, but more the like individual beep, beep, but just more frequently in this case.
Yep. So, Elementman, the boss fight, is kind of interesting because he will swap between elements, and the first one he always swaps to is wood. So, if you have, say, a fire cross, like heat cross, you can just charge up the buster and just, like, flame him the entire way through. And the other fun thing is, like, his pattern is, he'll wander into the back, he'll throw tornado, so he'll move around, throw a tornado, and then he'll transform. And then his successive patterns are, he'll throw a tornado, then throw out whatever element attack it is, and then he'll move, throw another tornado, and transform element. So you can, if you time all your chips right, you can keep him locked in the wood form and really put the hurt on him really quick. So Elementman is a pretty easy boss for this time of the game, because you can just loop him in fire attacks on the wood panels that he creates. So Elementman is a really cool looking boss, really thematic with like the Wheel of Orbs that like Raijin and Fujin have in Japanese mythology, but at the same time, like, he's not terribly strong. I also like how he's just like, I'm not going to jail, I got a flash bomb!
Once again, the ninja motif.
But unfortunately, he's using the flash bomb in front of a robot that, he knows you're standing on the keyboard, my dude.
I was very surprised the first time I saw this. Like, I didn't think that Mr. Weather had functioning arms, because, why would a computer need that? But, yeah, I guess they made his arms fully, capable of grabbing things for whatever reason.
Yep. Well, you see the word screen divide, and people that played Battle Network 5 know what's coming next. We can see that sword sticking out of the background. We know that Colonel's here to enforce things going well for the organization.
Wait, how did he just... He's not supposed to be able to instant transmission in the real world.
Yeah, like, not even just sort of jumping into space and coming back. But, I mean, look, Vic just threw a smoke bomb and he was gone. And also, hey, remember what we talked about with copy bots? How they can't use battle chips so they can't hurt people? What if you just, like, make a Navi's arm a sword, huh? What then? Well...
Kind of an oversight there, I think.
I also like, he's gonna kill a child here, but then our sad friend is here to stop it.
He just can't, he can't bring himself to do it.
And for some reason, Colonel decides that our sad friend is just too sad, and we're not going to kill Lan Hikari this time. Also, like...
Where did he go after he left the copy bot?
Yeah, she's really good at... Once again, reminder, Parrish and I have video chat up so we can see each other to hopefully not talk over each other, and I'm T-posing right now, just like Iris did. But yeah, he doesn't want to make Iris sad, so he's just gonna pop out of the copy bot. But, like, how do you, like... He should still be inside the copy bot, right? I don't know. I also like how Lan's like, we're gonna be fish food at the bottom of the ocean, and Iris is just like, nah, it's cool, bro.
Yeah, it seems there's a little bit more to Iris than we thought.
Yeah, right?
But, yeah, and if they had a backup electricity system the whole time, why was everyone so worried about it crashing into the ground?
Yeah, and Lan's just, like, stupefied, just like, Iris, how'd you do this? What? Oh, hey, the elevator's working again. Wait a minute, where'd she go?
You gotta stop looking away, Lan.
I love how he's just like, Iris, I have no idea who you are. Something strange is going on. what's going on here? But he can never ask the question. Like,
She's better at disappearing than the ninja.
yeah, she is. She's really good at it. But now we get to see more of the organization. Ito freed himself somehow, snuck out of jail, and was able to, get out here. I love how Clownman's operator is here to just taunt them. And then, Barrel's just here to lay down the law, y'all suck. My subordinates are awful. This is a bad boss thing to do. But, Colonel, Barrel, why aren't you just doing anything if it's so important to not have no brain, useless incompetence?
Yeah, it seems like they were going for cover the whole sphere of influence kind of thing, but ideally you should have the best of the best at each of their positions. These guys just suck.
Yeah, whoever this organization is, they took the time to hire one competent dude. Who's hit? Yeah, so, you know how Ito just broke out of jail and, Mr. Mock was posting on the Greentown board, and, Blastman showed up to Mick in school, which is supposedly extremely protected? Yeah, this is how it's happened.
And I know that we've seen it twice now, so yeah, go ahead and confirm WWW. Or the World 3, as it's supposed to be read, I mean.
Yeah, and the only way you know how that's pronounced is you played the first game, which is extremely janky and in many ways not nearly as fun to play as some of the later games that came down the line. They didn't know how to balance their difficulty curve. They didn't know what would be good power scaling. They just kind of threw a bunch of stuff at the wall that they vastly improved on with Battle Network 2. So if you didn't play that one specific game, you have no idea what WWW means.
Yeah, I never played it. I only read Let's Plays.
But yeah, I also like how these guys are immediately yeah. Yeah, or they're talking here like they're gonna unionize or something against Barrel. Man, go for it. But at the same time, you work for the evil organization where they hired, the most competent man in the world to oversee you idiots. You don't think that he can bust your union like nobody's business? Alright.
I'm surprised that they didn't bring Barrel in from the start. It would have been a lot smoother.
But we've got a mysterious third party who's willing to take these idiots under his wing to see his goals realized instead of World 3's. Wow, I wonder who that could be.
Probably no one that we know.
Actually, yeah, there haven't been that many hints for him so far, but we're just introducing the idea, and who could that be?
Gasp.
Dr. Wily. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, he got...
Back from the third game.
And in Game 5. And in Game 1. But yeah, Wily showed up at the end of Battle Network 5 after, the final boss fight happened to talk to Barrel to be just yes, thank you for doing this for me. Clearly setting up this game. But they also redrew his portrait for this, and I kind of like this look at him. His head looks enormous. It's just so big. And it's also at an angle where you can see, the divot in the middle of his head. And I also like how he's just yeah, that guy who wants to betray us and take all those idiots, it doesn't matter. We can let them take them. I've got all the money, and it doesn't matter. Wily is enjoying this so much. Absolute Chad right here.
I mean, when I first saw the new sprite, I thought that they were trying to show that he'd really gotten beaten up since the last time we saw him, and he had some sort of brain damage or hemorrhaging or something. But I guess guess that's just his new look now. And now, forget about that. We're back to the contest. So, yay, everyone get ready to operate. Oh no, it's that guy from before in Greentown.
Yep. It raises many questions about that thing that happened at the beginning of the game. And yet, here's that weird dude who showed up at the courthouse to talk smack to us. Could remove 3 judge bots in one action. Also, probably related to that Navi that showed up in the judge compound. also showed up in the internet to help us with the pink sword, hanging out next to the mayor. Huh, what could he be up to?
And, there's probably no more other Mega Man characters left that we've seen in previous installments that it could be, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so just don't worry about it.
Mega Man's just like, who could he be? But I pointed out the two guys standing to Land's left earlier because they had unique models, but then there's this guy hanging out to the right. I don't know for sure who he is, but I think he might be Kotetsu, who's a dude who's been posting on the BBSs from, like, Battle Network 2 about getting better at, like, net battling and using chips and stuff. Like, I think it's him based on some of the BBS stuff I read, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, like, this random dude has somehow made it here to the end. Like, I respect him a lot more than I respect these other guys, because he's just got some generic Navi made it here. And those other two dudes have, like, super tricked out, customized guys. And I also like how we see the other guy over there. He's just like, yeah, good luck. And this dude's just like, hey, let's trade battle chips. You want to do that? All right, let's do it.
Although you do bring up a good point with the one guy with the regular Navi in here so far. Like, is it better to have an operator Navi as a representative of the most common Navi that most people have? Or to have a super customizable Navi to be the face of it?
Yeah.
Like, do they want an everyman, or do they want a mascot for this big, expo at the pavilion?
But as I'm showing here, the air hockey trading for it was useful because this lets us complete the program advance linked to the air hockey battle chip. And the other thing to notice is there are a lot of trades in this game where, like, there's sort of like a Zelda fetch quest where there's, like, a linked trading quest, but there are also a lot of trades that are just one-offs elsewhere in the game. Also, hello, Mr. Famous. How's it going? Let's take a look at your shop. Is there anything here that's useful? A lot of the stuff is very situational, and it's useful for, like, when you battle, like, players. Like, if you and I net battled, but at the same time, like, it's not that useful for us over the course of the game. But, yeah, we're coming up soon here on, like, yeah, we're going to finish the thing, we're going to get chosen as the operator Navi, and very soon here, we're going to be able to complete the trading side quest, because, like, that ends in an area that we get access to really soon. So, yeah, Parrish, we just hit this point where we've revealed not only that it's the World 3 is the organization behind everything, but in addition to that, I'm gonna flip on face cam just because, like, I think I could have some fun. Oh, well, I can't. Hold up.
Maybe we'll get there eventually, something.
Well, look at this sky. It's perfect. Where do you think the plot's going at this point? We've revealed not only is World 3, our arch nemesis, Dr. Wily, in charge of all this bad stuff that's been going on. Our teacher has been a bad guy working against us. But there's this weird dude hanging out with the mayor who's been kind of a jerk to us. Might be related to that other guy that saved us in the Undernet. There are the guys within the World 3 that are looking to turn traitor. Where's the plot going? What do you think is going to happen next?
Well, obviously not trying to give away any spoilers for knowing the ending of the game, but based on what we've seen so far and what we know of Dr. Wily, it seems like he really wants to tear down the whole net infrastructure, destroy the net. So the fact that he's having them capture the Cybeasts, and we know that they've already been tearing around the net in the first place, I assume he either plans to use them or threaten to use them to just go hog wild and completely destroy the net, whether that's a threat or not.
Yeah, turn him loose on the internet?
Right.
Yeah, I mean...
and then again with the Force program, potentially like beef them up, make them more of a threat.
Yep. Was his motivation in Battle Network 1? Was his motivation in Battle Network 3? It's a really good, solid jumping off point to sort of link to with the Force program and the Maximum Power and the Cybeast. Just like, yeah, we're just going to make this super destructive thing even more destructive and cause problems. That's a pretty good starting point from there. Yeah. I'm glad we had this time to sort of like sit down and think about all the wild stuff that's happening in this game. I hope you at home are also thinking about where the plot could be going next, because things are about to change. Questions are about to start being answered. Well, maybe not next episode, but like in the next arc that's sort of coming up here. Things are starting to move fast in Mega Man Battle Network 6 as we come closer to our conclusion of not only this game, but the Battle Network franchise. And I hope you'll join me in the future. Thank you very much for coming out. Parrish, sign us off.
See ya.